Hello, lovely beings. Welcome to today's episode of Awakened Mindset. Tis I, your host and energy guide, Autumn Oakley. So today I want to talk about the fear that we're experiencing in the world, and that perhaps it's something we can shift out of. And this is something I've recognized over the past few years of stepping into a different embodiment of myself, addressing energy, mindsets, belief systems. I'm letting go of the fear in big ways that things I was so afraid to do in the past, it doesn't faze me. When I'm really put in situations that are really undesired, where I would have been in states of fight or flight, facing a lot of fear, facing a lot of self-doubt, I really just trust in the process to be like, okay, what can I do? What can I shift? All of these details. And that is, how I perceive it is that, fear's been built into society to keep us stuck, to keep us from elevating to a better way of being. Because what I've come to know is, the saying, your mind, your energy, your emotions create your reality. It's true, but it's in addressing different details that sometimes we're unaware of until a certain point of time that we really awaken this awareness, this power to step into. The fear that the world is facing, perhaps, if I may say, there's something going on behind the scenes. And I think, how I view life and the world is that you're experiencing life in accordance to your perception, and that will shift if you choose to grow and change and address different things. And stepping out of the fear is really stepping into elevated co-creation. You are a co-creator in this life. But if we're experiencing a lot of when it's undesired, we're embodying that self. We are holding those beliefs, that energy, and projecting that into the world, and that's what we're experiencing. And I know it sucks to hear, but it's a process. So I go ahead to do consulting with you to help bring awareness to the blocks of your unique life, your unique mindset, your unique energy, your nervous system, all of the details in what needs to be addressed to help shift you into an elevated embodiment of co-creation, to start experiencing the miracles, synchronicities of the universe in that way, to expand your mindset, consciousness, perspective, thought patterns, belief systems, whatever word works with you. Whatever it is you believe in this moment. There are different packages of 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, and 12 months to help you align with your purpose. I don't believe you need to know what your purpose is, but when you're in alignment with that, things start coming into your life in the most miraculous way. You start aligning with what's authentic to you, and that is what you start to experience in life. These programs are also to help you awaken your intuition, to understand your unique energy and how to connect with your unique inner guidance, to know what to do, to know where to go, and to step into the paths that you feel called to, because it's going to be unknown. We're walking amongst the fog a lot of the time, but it's in following our intuition that this shifts, this changes. We go ahead to do mindset shifting. We go ahead to address the details of healing of the physical, the mental, your relationships, the questions you have, like, should I switch onto this career path? These elements of life that sometimes we feel like, I don't have the finances to travel, but I'm really feeling called to travel. I hate my job. What should I do? I've always wanted to build a business, but I'm feeling lost. I don't actually know what I want to pursue. I've been through all of these, and this is really a process of different elements to bring you into alignment with your unique path, your unique energy, and embodying that, unique version of yourself. And this is when we start elevating our power of co-creation, of our intuition, and we shift our perspective, elevate our consciousness, and shift that mindset. We start experiencing a different way of life, of embodiment, and coming out of the fear, the self-doubt, the shame, the scarcity, all those undesired emotions, and we start manifesting what's elevated. And that's a beautiful thing. So each individual is experiencing life and reality in accordance to their own energy and how they perceive life and themselves and the world. So if we're experiencing a lot of subconscious beliefs of fear, we're holding on to that. I know a lot of people are really scared, but what I've really recognized is true miracles, perhaps just coincidence, but it seems too synchronistic, too uncanny, too beautiful of a way of being that, I feel like I need to share it. And yes, it sounds delulu, but that's something I've experienced the last few years is like, when I was doing different things, at different points in time, I use different words for the same thing. I was shifting my mindset. I was doing healing, and that shifted to a different perspective that came into my mindset, my awareness. I was in an awakening, and we look at that in a spiritual sense. And then at a point in time, I was like, oh, consciousness. And that's what it is about. As you expand, as you grow, I was never someone who, typically seeks knowledge. I'm not typically someone who is, looking for coaches and all of these aspects. I learned all of these aspects of going within the elements of my mind and myself, that I was really recognizing words, terms, things would come into my perception, my reality, when I became aware of them. And that's what I came to know is like expanding consciousness. You have all the answers. Expanding your mindset, you have a lot of the answers a lot of the time. We've been taught to, yes, be a student. Yes, seek knowledge. I'm going ahead to learn. Like I can't, learn everything without, people's guidance and those details. But when it comes to, awareness, consciousness, mindset, you're addressing yourself. You're addressing the details, of your mindset, your belief systems. No book is going to tell you, the exact details that need to be focused on. Yes, a book, a podcast, these elements are things that you can take and share, take what people are sharing with you to, try it out, see what works. But it's in accordance to you addressing your unique self, your unique perceptions, and really doing the inner work and addressing different aspects of your life that you're going to shift up, your reality and all of those details. And what I've experienced this last few years is like, I really stepped out of the fear of things. And there's so much fear going on in the world right now. But when you awaken to your intuition, when you step into this different perception that, fear doesn't hold so much of a restriction to you anymore. Self-doubt doesn't hold so much of a restriction to you. When we are living in the embodiment of these beliefs, these patterns that, we haven't healed yet, we haven't let go, we don't know how to, reprogram our, mindsets, our belief systems in that way. We feel stuck in the fear, we feel stuck in the self-doubt, and that was me for decades. So this is what I want to share is that, starting on a journey of healing that went to different aspects of things, I really was recognizing protection from the universe. I was really recognizing like how what it actually means to follow your intuition and how you uniquely feel it and connect with it and follow that unknown path in guidance of something that your mind can't perceive, that your mind says that's not where you need to go, that makes no sense. That it would lead me to manifest the most miraculous synchronistic things, divine connections who would help me along my path when I felt really stuck and I had no one. It would lead me to, stay in certain places when I didn't know that, if I were to actually go, because my mind was telling me to go, like I would have been stuck in a situation. And that's what it was like with the fear and stuff. It's like even the simplest thing, here, me, this past month and a bit, being in Tulum, I was really put in situations where I was kind of stuck in Tulum. I was trying to go back to Vancouver weeks ago, but I just felt called and everything just worked out timing wise that I kept being here. And I think I trust in my intuition. It was for a purpose. I'm addressing the energy of myself. I'm addressing different details. And it is about a new embodiment of yourself that you experience a different reality. You manifest different things because we can't step into our inner power if we're not, addressing those, deep elements of ourselves, our authenticity on those details. So what had happened was I was going to go up to, the coast. And for whatever reason, my intuition said, nope, stay in Tulum. Really loud. And I was like, that's really strange. I don't know why. And then it kind of worked out synchronistically. I couldn't leave anyway. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll stay another week in Tulum. And this was weeks past. But what had happened was when I stayed, then when the universe kind of put me in a space where I couldn't leave anyway, the hurricane came in. I was about to go where the hurricane was. And this is what it means to feel protected. This is what it means to let go of fear, is that you start experiencing the most synchronistic, uncanny, miraculous things when you connect with your intuition in a way. When you actually have an awareness, a mindset, a perspective, that you view life in a different way, that you kind of see how
you're co-creating your reality, and also, you're guided through your higher self, your intuition, because we can't always, see what's going on. We can't always see what's going to happen in future. A lot of the mind's job is to tell us what makes sense. Go do this thing. This seems fun. But if I would have went, I would have been stuck in a hurricane. I would have been in a situation I didn't want to be in with all the flooding and those details. That's what it means. Like, I've experienced this one example in many different ways over the past few years, embarking on this journey. It seems so uncanny. It seems so, beautiful. And I really believe that we're all meant to live a life like this. And, there's different elements. Like, you have to face your shadow. You have to face your shit. But this is what it means and what I've experienced the last few years of letting go of fear. I was never someone who could get in front of the screen. I was never someone who felt like I had a voice. Today, I feel that past few days, I have, a sore throat. I have some phlegm. I haven't been sick in years. And I always view this as like, something's about to happen. Whenever I get sick, and we talk about this with manifestation, is like, things fall apart in the most obscene ways. Like, shit hits the fan. You're like, oh my God, like, when is it going to end? Like, things just keep falling apart, keep crumbling. Before the breakthrough comes the breakdown. And often that also means, like, we're put in situations where, like, push through. Don't give up. Don't, like, let go of that energy. But sometimes that means, like, you get sick. And what I kind of believe, and people are talking about, wherever you are in life, I think you can recognize, like, there's a shift in the world happening. Whether you view that as energy, whether that you view that as like a 3D, 5D, whether you just view that as like the horrible things going on in the world, the disasters, the wars, like, shit's hitting the fan. But that also comes with finances. And I just have like this inner knowing, like, something's gonna happen with finances. And I feel like this past year, I've been gaining a different perspective and awareness of these things. And that will come in divine timing, that when I understand why all these came about, that I can share that with you. What I've came to know is like the different perspectives we have around finances, and that it's really good to get a head start on those belief systems, I think. Because at any point in time, I think we need to be realistic. Like, we could have no access to finances. We're going to feel really stuck. And what happens when we are not awakened in this state of less fear, less scarcity, less shame, less self-doubt, we manifest those emotions until we're healing those, till we're releasing and reprogramming those belief systems. So get a head start on that. And that also goes with your finances, to understand, like, we focus on the lack and scarcity. And I just did a podcast on this, but lack and scarcity, that's the perspective shift we need to, focus on, is like, lack and scarcity still means you have some. And that's why we're like, well, I've healed this wound. Like, I don't understand why I'm not manifesting the finances and those details. You need to go in the darkest parts of yourself and your mind and your belief systems to uncover the real truth of what is actually restricting you from manifesting things you want. Abundance, authenticity, stepping into your highest timeline, letting go of the limiting beliefs of fear, of all these details, and you start experiencing that in your reality. You start experiencing that. And sorry, those two elements, you can go ahead and check out the podcast, but with the fear, I'll just mention it. It's for you to focus on the shame that you have around money and finances from your past, from your family, and the hopelessness you feel. Oh, I put up my middle finger. The hopelessness you feel. And that's what it's about, and why I kind of mentioned that is, like, if ever there's a situation that we don't have access to finances, everyone's going to feel really stuck, really hopeless, not knowing what to do. And that's why I believe, finances have been built into society in this way. Is like, let's be honest. Like, you feel a lot of shame and you feel really hopeless when you can't put food on the table, when you can't, like, just, like, do anything. You're just like, what am I going to do? And you see this all the time, is like, we look at, people who are homeless and we're like, oh, like, go get a job. And, it's not that, they're not trying. And I know some people have addictions and, there's mental health issues as well. But, there's different elements of how they got there and what they're going through. But what I've, like, come to know in meeting people and those elements is, like, it's the hopelessness that keeps you there. I've met so many people who are very aware, they're conscious, but they're telling themselves that that is their path, that is the life they're there to live. And, everyone's on their unique journey. But I don't view it in this way. I think, when I connected with someone, this is just a side note, but I think this story is valid, in the fear, in the embodiment, because fear also goes with the other emotions. When you're feeling hopeless, when you're feeling shame, all of these are connected to fear. Fear is like the main base of all of these different emotions. Self-doubt, hopelessness, all of these, they're all types of fear, things that we fear of ourselves, of stepping into the change of things. But when I connected with this person, I had a wonderful conversation with them, and they had told me they've been homeless for a long time. They stand outside, they connect with people, say hello in the morning, and he had let me know that was his belief path, that he was meant to stay homeless, to be that light for people. And I don't believe that is, the path. I don't think we need to be, in this state of hopelessness that we don't always perceive that we're, in a subconscious pattern of, that we've come to know. It's really heavy to get out of. The shame you feel around certain things, the hopelessness you feel with the lack of finances, with just like different elements. It really is about, coming out of those that is going to shift and manifest that abundance. So that's why I say, focus on these in all elements of your life, in your relationships. What shame do you have around that? What hopelessness do you have around that? Are you in codependency? Really focus on the lower emotions that are really heavy, and that will really help you when shit hits the fan. Because wherever you are in your perception in life right now, however you're perceiving the shift of the world, we can all recognize, the world is changing. Things are going on behind the scenes that maybe we're never going to understand. We all have a unique perception in this moment, but I like to really hold, a perception that I see everything, but I know nothing. And in the end, I can only see what I choose to see. So when I was connecting with this person, they let me know that that's their path. That's what they're meant to do. And I don't think that is, the path. I don't think, we should have to continue living our life in a state that, yes, maybe, he felt good in the space, and, it's definitely on him to choose his unique path. And I would never, decide that for someone. People are going to choose what they're going to do. But I let them know that, if I may, I think you've lived enough of the struggle. And if you work through the elements of what you're feeling emotionally in regards to, what brought you to this place, you have a beautiful soul, a beautiful light about you. You have a lot of wisdom and awareness that you stepping into finances, you can help more people. And I think it was beautiful that, he was going ahead to connect with people on the street to say hello, bring some light to their day. But that is the hopelessness we feel. That is what's been conditioned in society, that sometimes we awaken to, our truth, and we awaken to different things, but we still feel and embody different emotions that our subconscious mind is has on repeat, has in patterns, that is our belief systems. And, I think he's lived a life where he's faced so much struggle, he's really awakened to, his awareness, his conscious path, that I was like, you know what? I think it's okay to say you deserve, elevated abundance, because in that way, less stress on you. You can still go around smiling at people, connecting with people in their morning. You can buy them a coffee. You can go ahead to, create your own foundation to help support people, to elevate them out of these states of where they feel stuck in, getting them out of the emotional embodiment to, come out of being homeless, to whatever it is that inspires you, connects you, just bringing joy to people's day, but doing it in a way that, because you have finances, that's a spiritual thing. Because you feel abundant in finances, you have the opportunity to help more people. But this is what it means to, become aware of different things. It's what's been programmed in our society for so long is this unknown embodiment of our mindset that we are unknowingly stuck in the way that we've come to know things. That we're like, oh, this seems comfortable. This is what I've done. This seems aligned with my path. But it's for us to really face the truth, I could be doing more. Me addressing these patterns, me addressing the fear that's been built in, it's not me. You are not your fear. You are not your self-doubt. You are not the shame. And I get very intense about this because I think it's an injustice. The elements of what's been built in, and you'll have a different perception about this in this moment in time, but they're not you. We all want to be confident. We all want to come out of the depression where we're feeling stuck. This was me for decades. I didn't know how to leave the suffering. I didn't know how to leave what was manifesting into my life, the abuse. I felt stuck. I was experiencing the fear. Everything in my life was a tower moment all the time. Everything in my life, in comparison to everyone else in my life, it became a joke that I was just, the person that shit happened to. But that's because this was my unique path to bring awareness, to help guide you wherever you're feeling stuck in life. And that is my gift. We all have a gift to see, but I really do have, this gift of awakening myself. Is like, I see the blocks. I see where people are stuck that their ego doesn't want to face, because that's what it is. Our higher self, the universe, you are a co-creator in this reality, this life. You are experiencing life in accordance to you, your perceptions, your energy, the emotions you're embodying. You're always co-creating. So if we're experiencing a lot of fear, we're addressing our focus there. And what's been kind of built into society, like with all these different details of, there's questioning about, the details of the fear that's coming about, because people are becoming more aware. They're questioning the details of, hey, you know what? What the hell is in our food? Hey, you know what? This hurricane doesn't make sense. Is this man-made? We're questioning things. We're becoming aware of things. And, we've always wanted to hold faith in our leaders, but it's for us to understand, like, we know. We have the wisdom within us. And all the fear that we're feeling, all the fear that's kind of coming about in our reality, I can tell you, like, I experienced all that fear. I literally was in spaces that, like, all of these horrible things were happening in the world. I was watching the news. All of these things that were horrendous and horrible were happening to me. But it was when I shifted these beliefs, I let go of the fear, I let go of the self-doubt, I let go of the shame, I let go of the hopelessness. Like, my reality started shifting. I gained an awareness of, that we are co-creators. And that's what it's about, is like, if we're embodying shame, if we're embodying fear, if we're embodying self-doubt, we're manifesting that. So it's for us to really, dig deep and to understand, like, we need to shift our perspective, do different things. So intentionally, yes, like, stop paying attention and drawing your focus to all the shit. Stop drawing your focus to, all of the fear that's being built into the media right now. And I know there's situations, and I know, like, we intentionally, like, need to help people, and, it's good to be aware of what's going on in the world. I'm not saying not to be aware, but I'm saying don't get stuck in the fear. Don't just be scrolling and looking at everything and just, like, being stuck in that embodiment. Come to a space of calm, try to heal yourself, try to bring your awareness to different things of, like, what you need to shift in your life and change, and do the inner work, the healing. And naturally, when you start doing healing, when you start setting boundaries in your, family dynamics, in your friendships, in life, when you start changing careers, when you start following your intuition, and that's going to feel different to you wherever you are in life, on your journey right now, like, that will come. You'll gain a different awareness, and it builds. It becomes stronger the more that you test your intuition. You'll start to recognize, like, your intuition knows best. We always fall into the mind of things, but naturally, when you're following your intuition, naturally when you're doing the healing, naturally when you're drawing your focus to the life that you're living and what is undesired, because it's inauthentic to you. You are not the fear. You are not the self-doubt. You are not the shame. If you are experiencing a lot of shit in your life, what is undesired, that is inauthentic to you. We are here to live a life that's authentic to us. We are energy. So it's in our authentic energy, and this is proven in science, is that the embodiment of authenticity, is a higher frequency and has more power than the embodiment of love. And that's the clue we need. That's the thing that's been removed from society. We've been molded and led to these thought patterns, this way of life, that we don't know our authenticity. We're embracing the fear to go into the unknown, to explore the truth of ourselves. We feel fear to travel alone because we want to go with other people. We've never done that before. We don't want to leave what we've come to know, and we stay stuck in that. And that's something I experience. I'm not throwing this, in a space of shade. But what I am telling you is that there are hard truths that we have to face of ourselves and our life right now. And there is a shift going on in the world. However you perceive that, I think it's just pretty clear, things are changing. So what I've experienced is you're protected. You experience a different way of living. And I'm not saying to not be intentional, to get out there, help people, do the things, be aware of the, things that are going on in the world. But you really just start experiencing life in a way that it's kind of like there's two worlds at the moment. People will talk about it in different mindsets, spirituality, like that song says, heaven is a place on earth. And that's how I perceive life, is everything is existence, everything is consciousness, everything is energy. So you are just experiencing life, but you perceive that you're in this human body. But, we talk about it in different ways, different perceptions, hey, this is your reality, this is your video game. But you used to perceive that you were in the game, and you're in the fear, and things are falling on you, and somebody is outside the box playing the game, and you're like, help me. And that was me. And then you come out of the screen, then you're on the controller, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, I can maneuver, I have some control over this. You start stepping into co-creation. You start stepping out of the fear, because it's when you start experiencing true miracles from the universe, the fear goes away naturally and gradually over time, because you really gain this perspective, this knowing, this awareness that you're protected the more that you step into a path that you're feeling called to through your intuition, what feels good to you, setting boundaries, addressing your energy, really just stepping more and more into a path of love, of authenticity. And that's what it's about, is that what's been programmed in society for so long? Fear, self-doubt, scarcity. Oh, all of these elements, finances, everything's energy. It's just printed out of thin air. I would say it all the time, but you can go and ask for your money at the bank, and they don't have it. They will spend 5 weeks getting it, and they will only scrounge up what they can find. And that's literally the reality. They don't store it in the bank. They don't even have it anymore. And that's the thing that we need to break free of, is awareness. Awareness in the fact that what? Doing what feels good to me, that's actually leading me out of the fear, is going to bring me to awareness, to experience a different reality in that way. Oh, someone's laughing at me on my podcast. That's cool. I'm just outside at the moment, and I just like doing the podcast outside. Fresh air and a little bit of jungle. But that's what I mean. It's I'm not phased anymore. I used to feel so much self-doubt to just put up a phone and do these things. But when you step out of the fear, when you step into your authenticity, you're okay to be seen. You're okay to do your thing. You're okay to experience life in a different way. And this is what I mean too, is the things that used to kind of manifest into my life, all these problems, all of the fear-based stuff, all of these illnesses of the mind, of the body. I used to trip all the time. People used to call me a klutz. Things would always kind of manifest in the most awful way, that people just made it a joke that shit just happens to me. But it was because I was embodying that self. I was holding that fear. I was really the perfect example of what is conditioned in society. I was really the embodiment of what society has tried to build in leading us into chronic illness of the physical, perceptions and feeling stuck in our mental illness struggle. I really just manifested a lot of fear of not having a voice, of, not liking to be in front of the screen, the camera, in, binging and spending all my money in all these different ways, in all of these thought patterns. I've really experienced a lot of different perspectives and trauma, and I can really relate to people. Hopefully we all have a unique experience in our lovely moments in life, but also through our suffering. But I've really experienced a lot of things. It's like I'm aware of a lot and where we're really stuck, and that really is what I perceive is like this gift I have is I see the blocks, I see where we're stuck, and that's often where our awareness isn't focused. It's often in the darkness because our ego doesn't want to face it. But I see those blocks, and it's always quite random. It's always unrelated to what we're looking to change. When we're feeling fear, when we are, feeling scarce in our finances. Sometimes it's like me just recognizing this would happen, with potential clients and, somebody I met with, they were sharing with me that they, were having a struggle with the bank, and they had, withdrawn, I think it was like few $100,000. They had been working with them for months. He didn't think he was going to get the money. Literally, this was over a coffee. This was, a meeting for a potential client, just a meeting in regards to my perception and, where the block was. And it was in this, like, I drew the focus away from the money. I was like, it's not about the money. I was like, what is it that's going on in your life right now? And he was talking about a romantic connection. And it's when he addressed that and shared that, within minutes, he got a phone call. Within minutes, he got a phone call. And it was the bank at this lunch, at this, coffee shop, that he just got approved that the finances he'd been trying to get back from the bank for months was all good. It was going to be put back in his bank account by the end of the week or something. And that's what it means, is that, where we feel stuck, where we're actually, blocked from manifesting something different, a new awareness, a new experience, manifesting different things into our life, it's often unrelated to the thing we're focused on. The mind likes to focus on the thing, but I really just have this, like, different perspective of, where the blocks actually are sometimes. And it's also just about, an intuitive connection to say, like, hey, this is just, come into my mind, channeled in a way, and that is really a gift that I have to help bring forth the change and that sort of thing, which is really cool. But that is today's episode on fear and my unique experience of overcoming fear, understanding that a lot of fear that's going on in the world right now, it seems delulu in how I say it, and I don't really know anything. All I can kind of share is like what I'm experiencing in life, a shift of myself, my reality, and that I think we're all meant to embark on a path that we come out of the patterns that have been built into society that are keeping us stuck in this way of the world, that things are shifting, things are crumbling, things are not, in the best place right now. And I think wherever you are in life, you can recognize that in different ways. And we're feeling a lot of fear. Everyone's feeling very scared. So this is your message to say, I'm going to get a bit emotional. No, I'm good. This is your message from me to say, I don't know, your path. I don't know the truth of all these things. I have a different perspective in regards to, energy, with quantum physics and actual, scientific study, in a spiritual path of things I've experienced that just seem so miraculous, uncanny, that, I don't really have a different way to explain it except for the fact, like, I really don't know anything, but I know what I've been experiencing, and it's you embodying a different version of yourself, and you shift that energy, because energy is everything. Your energy, the physical elements are energy. We can look at quantum physics. Everything is energy. So you may not, perceive that or like science in that way, but you can go and look it up. Like, it is scientifically proven that everything is vibrating. Everything, is atoms. Everything is energy. So that's just, my perception is like energy is meant to flow. What's been conditioned society is the fear, because fear, self-doubt, hopelessness. What do we do when we experience those emotional states? We stay. We don't embrace change. We don't move. Energy is meant to flow. And this is what I've experienced in my life. And when I actually let go of these emotional states, the fear, and I started embracing what's new, I healed my physical body where doctors said there's no cure. I left depression and anxiety I felt stuck to for decades. I started manifesting a new awareness, a new connection with my intuition that led me to the most miraculous things a lot of the time. I really awakened my mindset and started experiencing that in life and coming out of the fear and the self-doubt and all of these different elements of things. So it's in embracing the change that we're going to let go of these emotional states that we're manifesting a lot of the time. And those are the states emotionally that lead us to stay, that lead our ego to say, this is too scary. I don't want to do anything new. I don't want to embrace the change. It's uncomfortable. But, and when you're in a space of love, of authenticity, of curiosity, of exploration, you're flowing all the time. You're curious. You're excited about what's new. And that's when things start changing in your life. To experience new things, we have to embrace the new things, and that's part of the journey. So thank you for joining me on today's episode of Awakened Mindset. And I hope that you embrace the change. And if you're facing a lot of fear right now, I understand. I've been there. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of things, going on. But I can tell you, I can't, say the truth of things because, I'm just human. I don't really know. But I can, really share the fact that, what I've been experiencing is a different way of living, is you embrace your confidence. You don't feel fear in the same way. You really start experiencing a way of bliss, of protection, wholeness within yourself, miracles, love, abundance coming into your life that likely, like myself, probably, I had never experienced before in my life. And that's why it seems like true miracles. That's why it seems like that. And a lot of the time, we're just being guided by our intuition to follow this path. But what's been programmed keeps us stuck. That energy stays stuck. And when we hold on to that fear, when we hold that self-doubt, we hold that energy. And that's why our nervous systems are dysregulated. That's why we're manifesting illness in the body, of the mind, and we don't know why we feel stuck. And that is just my unique perception on what I've come to know. So keep shining, lovely beings. If you're feeling a lot of fear, embrace the change. Connect with me. I go ahead to have my consulting sessions as well if you'd like to do an expansive journey. I have 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, and a 12-month expansion, transformation of energy, of intuition, of becoming an elevated co-creator in your reality. And it really is the path to really change the elements you're looking to change. And it's so much more beautiful and miraculous than often we can perceive in this moment. I used to just think I wanted to leave my reality and live in a dream. But in awakening to this new way of life, I kind of come to this perception to realize that I was asleep. I was actually living a dream within a dream. But the dream that's in the dream is not the one that's desired. It's the one that's been built in, and that keeps us stuck and experiencing the elements that is fearful of the shifts that are going on in the world. And I know it sounds delulu. It sounds weird, but that's all I can really say to the best of my ability to say that if you're willing to embrace the change, I think it's a path meant for you. And I've connected with so many people. They've experienced the same thing. And it's not just about me. And that's all I've been doing these past few years, is gaining the awareness, learning, following my intuition to gain these new perspectives, to gain the path, these programs, and put them together for you to step into an elevated embodiment of co-creation, to awaken your intuition, to leave the health struggles we're facing, the mental struggles we're facing. Everything we want in life is in accordance to us. And there's a lot of elements with that. We like to focus on one thing, but it's really about energy. It's really about addressing the energy of your mindset, of your embodiment, of your nervous system, the elements that you need to set boundaries with in your life. When you make those changes, and it's not always easy in the beginning because of what's been built in, of the fear, of the self-doubt. We've been living in this state for so long. It feels the most scary to embrace the change. So that's going to be the heaviest part. And we say this all the time. When you're healing, it gets better, right? That's what we say. But it is. It's heavy until it's lighter. And then it's lighter. And then it is miraculous. And it's almost non-existent. You don't experience the fear. You can be faced with huge challenges, and I have faced the biggest challenges of my life these past 2 years, and I had no one in my life. I felt very alone, very stuck, and I had been, facing the darkest years of my life, and I was grateful, and I was whole, and I was experiencing miracles from the universe. I was experiencing protection. I was experiencing, a love for myself all through these challenges. And that's what it means, is like, when we're talking about fear and stuff, when we can shift these perspectives, when we can experience what it means to be an elevated co-creator in your life, the wind is coming, a storm is a-brewing. You really just start experiencing that shift in your life and in your reality. And I think that's really cool and something that you're here to experience. I think we've all suffered enough. I think, I'm done. I think you're done and tired of the shit that has just been on repeat for so long, keeping us stuck, keeping us unhealthy, keeping us in the fear, in the self-doubt, not embracing our authenticity, feeling a lack of confidence. I want that for you. You freaking deserve that. I'm going to swear and say you fucking deserve that. And you living your dream is truly my dream. And I was getting emotional saying this, but man, there's a beautiful life waiting for you. And it's truly the most beautiful thing that I can't really explain. And people I connect with who have been on the same journey, experiencing the same things I have, it's the same thing. And it's really the path that you're meant to pursue, pursuing your joy, pursuing your dream, following your passion, connecting with people in ways that they see you for your authenticity. They're experiencing life in such a beautiful way that you are not embracing fear. You're not in the scarcity. You're not in the self-doubt. You might face a little bit. It's a process. It starts coming off in layers, in chunks, but gradually it gets easier. It gets better. So that is the way, the path, my unique perspective on this. And embracing that change is really something I think that you're meant to experience in this life. So just know that I love you and keep pursuing your unique way. And like I said, if you're feeling a lot of fear, know you are safe, you're protected, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. And know that I send you love and hugs, lots of hugs through the screen. Okay, keep shining lovely beans.